This is a story of a married couple. One beautiful windy day, Mr. Dubey is all set to leave for office when he glances at his caring wife who is busy packing his lunch for him. Mr. Dubey's colleagues only knew that he was a hard worker, but nobody knew that he was a romantic at heart. He couldn't resist going into the kitchen to hug his wife and thank her for 25 years of unconditional love. That's right, the very next day was their 25th wedding anniversary. In the kitchen, Mr. Dubey notices a sad look on his wife's face and asks,
Wonder why someone who has the best husband in the world be sad?
At this, Mrs. Dubey smiles, swings her neck left to right to signal it was nothing. As soon as Mr. Dubey steps out of his house, he understands the reason behind his wife's grim look. He assumes that from the kitchen window, his wife must have seen what he was seeing right then. Mr. and Mrs. Banerjee, their neighbors, heading out for a ride in their new Maruti Suzuki Swift. Mr. Dubey knows that Mrs. Banerjee was not the best human being and would sometimes make fun of Mrs. Dubey for having a husband who wouldn't even buy a car.
Did you forget something? Hurry up, you're going to get late.
Shouted Mrs. Dubey as she found her husband lingering around the doorstep.
I am old enough to not take the risk of investing all our savings in a new car, but I am not old enough to not take my wife out and have a good time.
Mrs. Dubey smiles as she rushes to their bedroom for a quick change of clothes, while Mr. Dubey pulls out their cream-colored Bajaj Chetak, leans it towards him and kicks it to start.
Are you okay?
Confirms Mr. Dubey. He parks the scooter on one side of the road only to notice that the contaminated air was getting to his wife. Her hair, which were always tied with perfection, had turned into a fizz. The constant honking of cars was no music for her ears. Mr. Dubey offers to take her back home, but she, in all her excitement of spending quality time, refuses. The couple's day takes a turn for the worse when the sky loses all mercy and it starts to rain heavily. The eve of their 25th wedding anniversary comes to an end with a sick Mrs. Dubey and a concerned Mr. Dubey.
Is this my fault? Have I ignored my wife's desires for too long? She never demanded anything from me. Did that make me forget to take care of her needs? Can't I even prevent her from falling sick? Have I not been a good husband?
Mr. Dubey knew what would solve the problem: a car. To give his mind some peace, he swiftly gives medicine to his wife, puts her to bed, and opens his laptop to check his finances for a scope to buy a new car. There wasn't much. A huge chunk of money had been kept aside for their daughter's education, who was studying in one of the most prestigious institutes of the country. In that desperate situation, not worrying about the wrong hour of the night, Mr. Dubey gives a call to one of his co-workers who was also a close friend seeking for advice. Mr. Dubey's friend suggests him to buy a used car as that would be killing two birds with one stone. He would be able to enjoy all the comforts of the car while burning a smaller hole in his pocket. Now Mr. Dubey is not stupid. He does not wait for the next day to buy a used car. He simply logs on to executivecarsindia.com and makes the purchase right away. He knows that this is one of the websites from which he can buy without any research and would not end up being cheated. Next day, on the morning of their 25th wedding anniversary, Mrs. Dubey wakes up to a surprise as her husband is holding the keys to their newly bought pre-owned sedan. Mr. Dubey waits patiently as his wife gets ready for a first ride in their car. She wears her best for the important occasion.